Well, it's time. If your live Christmas tree is still up in your living room as you're watching us right now, it's time to take it down. That's according to fire professionals because of the associated safety risk with how dry your tree may be. Joining us virtually here on 13 Plus is Meredith Hawes with the National Fire Protection Association. Meredith, thanks so much for joining us. It's a bummer to have to take the tree down, but if folks still have it up at this point, what safety risks does that pose for their home?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Julia. For all the joy and the beauty that Christmas trees bring, it's really important to remember that they are a large combustible item that presents potential fire hazards in your home. And that can be from when you put it up to when you take it down. But it does become vital to take it down. The longer you have it, the more that natural tree dries out. Oftentimes we kind of start to forget about it because we're not as concerned about it looking fresh. And so you run that risk of it becoming very dry. And, we respond in the US to about 150 fires per year due to Christmas trees. Not a lot of fires. They don't happen often, but when they do, they are very dangerous and often fatal.
Yeah, and it's, something we don't necessarily want to be thinking about when it comes to, all that joy you mentioned that the Christmas tree and the Christmas spirit brings us. But yeah, I mean, it's a living, piece from the elements that once you have it inside, it's, in your living room, different kind of air, it's dry, it's sitting out. As you mentioned, maybe you're not watering it anymore. Just how combustible can an item be? How quickly are we saying something could, burst into flames if it were to, come in contact with the right item?
Sure. And there could be many different risks that are posed with a Christmas tree in your home. With that dry tree, if it's, where it's placed, if it's near a heat element, if you've got an electrical issue and perhaps the wiring and the lights on the tree, a number of different things, a candle burning, something being knocked over, all those things contribute to the risk. And then if that tree does catch fire, you can expect that you're going to have a pretty big fire that you're going to deal with and very little time to escape that fire as well, because fires are so different now as compared to just 20, 30 years ago because of the types of things that we have in our home that are so combustible.
And so for folks to have a timeline of, okay, maybe I put my tree up a week or two before Christmas, is there kind of a sweet spot when, now is a good time to take it down, early January, right after New Year? What's kind of the timeline that you guys recommend?
There's not really a science to it, Julia, but it depends on, when you purchased the tree, was it very fresh? When you're selecting your tree, that can be really important to pick a tree that is very fresh and not one that is dry. If you brush your hand against it and a lot of needles drop, probably not the tree that you want to take home. So it depends on, where that tree is in the process. But, it's safe to say that right after the holidays, it's a good time to go ahead and just eliminate that fire risk in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about live Christmas trees here. Of course, we want to reiterate, if you've got the fake one and you want to leave that up a little bit longer, that is safe to do so, correct?
Any kind of adding that electrical element into your home does increase the risk, but you do have a much higher risk with a natural tree that has become dried out. And again, I really want to, emphasize the fires today burn so fast and so hot that you have very little time to escape a home fire. And so should you have that happen, you have less than really 2 minutes to get out of your home. And if you think about that, if it's something that happens at night when you're sleeping, the time it takes to wake up, recognize that there's, a imminent danger, and then process what you need to do and who you need to get out of your house, under 2 minutes is not a lot of time. So if you can eliminate a risk like this, go ahead and just, make sure you get that tree recycled out of your house and recycled.
Okay. All right, Meredith, thank you so much for the pointers. We appreciate it. It'll be a good weekend here in Michigan to take those trees down because it's going to be pretty brutal outside. So thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.